Ancient Roman architecture developed different aspects of ancient Greek culture and newer technologies such as the arch and the dome to make a new architectural style. Roman architecture has influenced styles today. Let's take you back to the Roman architecture that flourished throughout the empire during the Pax Romana. The Romans are known for making beautiful and detailed buildings such as the Pantheon and the Colosseum. Most buildings built during this time included forums, which Roman cities were typically focused around. The Forum is a large open plaza surrounded by important buildings, which was a civic, religious, and economic heart of the city. They also built markets and shops, temples, which were located in the Forum, basilicas, which were used as a court of law or for public assemblies, the Colosseum, arenas and amphitheaters, Circus Maximus, a chariot racing stadium and other Roman games, theaters, baths and bathhouses, forts, gymnasium, Campus Martius, a wide open field, triumphal arches and triumphal columns, ancient Roman aqueducts, and factories. Let's start at the beginning. Rome became an empire after Julius Caesar, which was 27 BC. Rome became a republic from 509 BC to 27 BC. The empire was from 27 BC to 476 AD. By 435 AD, there were 175 festivals a year, and 101 of them were devoted to theater. In 55 BC, the first stone theater was built. Roman architecture was not completely made of concrete. Some were made of marble. Long before concrete was used on the building scene in Rome, the Romans used volcanic stone native to Italy called tufa to construct their buildings. Although tufa never went out of use, travertine began to be utilized in the late 2nd century BC because it was more durable. Also because it was an off-white color, which made it a substitution for marble. Travertine is a form of limestone deposited by mineral springs, especially hot springs. Marble was slow to catch on in Rome since it was seen as an extravagance. But in 31 BC to 1480, which was after the reign of Augustus, marble became quite fashionable. Roman concrete was developed in the early 2nd century BC. The use of mortar was a bonding agent, and ashlar masonry was not new in the ancient world. Mortar was a combination of sand, lime, and water in proper proportions. The major contribution the Romans made to the mortar recipe was the introduction of volcanic Italian sand, pozzolana. The Roman builders who used pozzolana compared to the ordinary sand noticed that the mortar was incredibly strong and durable. It had the ability to set underwater. Brick and tile were commonly plastered over the concrete since it was considered very pretty on its own. Concrete structural possibilities were far more important. Concrete allowed builders to be more creative with their designs. Since concrete takes the shape of the mold or frame it is poured into, buildings began to take on a more fluid and creative shapes. One of the things the Romans are most known for are their arches. A true arch is composed of wedge-shaped blocks called voussoirs, with a keystone in the center for holding them into place. Arches made of concrete could support a lot of weight. Because of this, the Romans were able to build massive structures. For example, the aqueducts that the Romans built that provided the water for the city. The aqueducts were very complicated because they had to keep it at a steady slope over the land. There are arches in the aqueducts under them too. In a true arch, weight is transferred from one voussoir down to the next, from the top of the arch to the ground level, creating a sturdy building tool. True arches can span greater distances than a simple post and lintel, which is a system in which they use two upright posts like columns with a horizontal block known as the lintel laid flat across the top. An example would be the ancient Greek temple in Paestum, Italy. The use of concrete combined with the employment of true arches allowed for vaults and domes to be built, creating expensive and breathtaking interior spaces. One famous building that Romans built was the Roman Amphitheater. The name amphitheater refers to a level open space surrounded by an oval area that gradually ascends. This may be a man-made structure or natural geographic formation, but it is suited for seating people on the sloping area for the viewing of spectator sports, games, concerts, displays, rallies, or theatrical performances. Today we call it a theater in the round. An amphitheater can be classified as either an ancient amphitheater, a contemporary amphitheater, or a natural amphitheater, being particularly associated with the Rome and ancient Greece. Amphitheaters were used for various types of public events. They were either circular or oval. They were used for events such as gladiator combats, chariot races, venations, which were animal slayings, and executions. 230 Roman amphitheaters have been found across the area of the Roman Empire. The earliest Roman amphitheaters date back to the middle of the 1st century BC, but were mostly built under the imperial rule from the Augustan period onwards. The largest ones could accommodate 40,000 to 60,000 spectators. The most elaborate one featured multi-storied, arcaded facades and were decorated with marble, stucco, and statuary. Another famous building is the Pantheon. The Pantheon is a building in Rome which was originally built as a temple to the 7 deities of the 7 planets in the Roman state religion, but which has also been a Christian church since the 7th century. It is the best preserved of all the Roman buildings and the oldest important building in the world with its original roof intact. The original Pantheon was built in 27 to 25 BC under the Roman Empire, although it was destroyed in a fire in 80 AD. It was reconstructed and they added a new facade, a common practice in Hadrian's rebuilding projects all over Rome. Another building is the famous Colosseum. It was originally the Flavian Amphitheater. The Colosseum is located in the center of Rome. It is seen as one of the greatest works in Roman architecture and engineering. The construction of the Colosseum started between 70 and 72 AD, but it was completed in the 80 AD. It could seat around 50,000 spectators. It held gladiator contests and other public spectacles. Some other public spectacles included mock sea battles, animal hunts, executions, reenactments of famous battles, and dramas based on the classical mythology. The Colosseum remained there for nearly 500 years, with the last recorded games being there at the late 6th century. The Colosseum is now in ruined conditions caused by earthquakes and stone robbers. It is the iconic symbol of Imperial Rome and one of the most popular tourist attractions. All in all, ancient Roman architecture such as the Colosseum, Pantheon, and true arches have shaped architecture today.